Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
8 o'clock here on your Tuesday morning. A cold front moving to the east and lower humidity taking its place. I'll show you how much longer that's going to last and when we see near record high temperatures coming up.
And tariff opposition. North Carolina leaders considering joining a bloc to Trump's tariffs. The Republican Party members who may defy the president's trade agenda.
An age restriction law. A bill will be considered today banning people under the age of 14 from using social media. The additional control it would give you, the parents, over the accounts of older teens.
And Bulls baseball begins. Look at this. They're rolling off the tarp. The Durham Bulls will host the first game of the season on their home field where you are looking live. We'll share what's new this season at the DBAT. There's a lot that is new, and baseball season is here. I'm so excited. That means spring. Thanks for joining us. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
And I'm Chris Lovigan. If she doesn't do this, then you know she's not actually excited for it. But no, it's going to be really exciting. We're going to have our team out there all day, so make sure you watch our coverage. Meanwhile, we'll get started with Chris Michaels, because Chris, I think a lot of people are going to be out there at the DBAT, but what is it going to feel like when they're out there?
It's going to feel amazing. I mean, we'll see temperatures mid to upper 60s at first pitch, cooling off a little bit as we go throughout the game, but overall, very nice night to be out at the DBAP. Starting out with a look at our tower, and you can see some of those mid to high level clouds moving overhead. No harm, no foul with those. Right now, we're in the mid-50s in the Triangle. Ditto for Rocky Mount, near 59 in Fayetteville. But Roxborough, Henderson, Oxford, here are the cool spots this morning in the mid to upper 40s. So that's what you can expect as you're taking the dog for a walk right now. By midday, temperatures in the mid-60s, and then high temperatures this afternoon. They'll be in the low 70s. Nice and comfortable out there. I have noticed the pollen-y haze still sticking around, even though we had a little bit of rain last night. Probably wasn't enough to really go knocking that out. Looks like it may take a slight dip on Thursday, but as temperatures rise later this week, it's more of the same. I'll show you where we see near record highs coming up in just a bit. Ken?
All right, Chris, happening now with the WRAL Traffic Center. You know that crash we've been following on I-40? Yeah, that's completely cleared, and we're still seeing some lingering delays on I-40 westbound around Lake Wheeler Road, and this is what it looks like. There's still the bumper-to-bumper traffic that you're seeing, but right now, since that crash is cleared, it's really the usual morning congestion that we see this time of morning. You can see the northern loop of the Beltline. Things are really beginning to pick up as well, but nothing that's going to really make you late. Many of you use I-540 as an alternate east-west route. Right now, it's going to take you about 7 minutes to get from Lewisburg Road all the way over to I-40, but once you get past Creedmoor Road, it's clear sailing all the way through I-540 this morning. In terms of the other major routes heading into the capital city, the real troubled spot is US 1 Capitol Boulevard coming in from Wake Forest this morning. You're looking at a 7-minute delay. Over in Durham, though, very little to no delays on any of the major routes heading into the Bull City this morning. Want to isolate I-885 because that's usually a busy thoroughfare this time of morning, people going in and out of Durham. You're going into Durham, you're looking at a 2-minute delay, but you're leaving Durham trying to get to I-40, you're looking at a 7-minute delay. You're getting ready to head out of the door. Traffic is constantly changing. 101.5 HD3. Tune us in.
Happening today, a bill that would ban social media for kids under the age of 14. It's up for debate. WRAL's Laura Levine explains how this would apply to apps including Instagram and TikTok.
Some state lawmakers want to get social media off the phones of younger teens and children. That's essentially the motive behind this bill that they will debate today. So let's break it down. We're talking about 14 and 15-year-olds who will now have to get parental permission to have a social media account, and parents would be able to shut it down as well. Social media companies who do not comply with the law could be subject to a $50,000 fine. They could also be sued by a user's parent. WRAL government reporter Will Doran shares more on which companies the law would apply to.
This will not ban all even image sharing or chatting websites. It has very specific rules for what qualifies as social media, what doesn't. But in general, all of the big sites, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, things like that, will be targeted by this.
And there's still so many questions on how this would be applied and what this would look like. That debate is happening with the House committee today at 1 p.m. Laura Levine, WRAL News in Raleigh.
New this morning, Senator Cory Booker's marathon speech is still going on the Senate floor into its 13th hour. Booker started speaking at 7 o'clock last night. He says he is protesting the actions taken by President Trump's administration. The speech comes at a time when Democratic leaders in Washington are under pressure from their base to do more to stand up to Trump. Booker is a member of the Senate Democratic leadership team.
Today, several Senate Republicans may join Democrats in a vote to block tariffs on Canada. Senator Thom Tillis indicated he may vote for a resolution blocking the tariffs. In a statement to CNN, he says, "We need to fight battles with our foes first and then try to figure out any inequities with our friends second," end quote. Republican Senators Rand Paul of Kentucky and Susan Collins of Maine also plan to vote for the resolution. Now, even if it passes, I should mention it's unlikely to be taken up by the House. And just a reminder, we will keep an eye on those votes throughout the day. You can look for updates on WRAL News from 4 to 7:30 this evening.
Some state lawmakers want to ban diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in local government as well as at the state level. A bill in a House committee today would forbid local governments from using any public funds to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. It would also require any private organization that receives state or local grants to stop any DEI practices. Local governments would be required to immediately discontinue any current DEI programs that use public funds. It would also ban DEI training as well as its use in hiring for or awarding contracts. Several Triangle area cities and counties have DEI programs, including Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill.
Today, Raleigh City Council will look at ways to improve traffic on the west side of the city, and this includes around Lenovo Center and the State Fairgrounds. Council will talk about the status of work to widen Blue Ridge Road, and they'll also focus on bike and pedestrian infrastructure projects, as well as the Lenovo Center redevelopment plan. You may recall that. Wade Avenue and Edwards Mill Road improvements, bus route realignment, a potential commuter rail, all of that is on the agenda for this afternoon's council meeting at 1 o'clock.
A Fayetteville family is calling for justice and answers after a 12-year-old girl was shot at a carnival. Adriana Bethea remains in the hospital on a ventilator after the March 22nd shooting. She and her family were at a carnival when someone shot into a crowd. One of those shots hit her in the chest. Adriana's aunt says the girl can communicate using some sign language that she recently learned.
This past weekend, if you tap her and you say, like, you tap her arm or her hand and you say, Adriana, she'll look at you, she'll wave, she make her little heart signals and try to smile as good as she can with the, because she has the tubes.
Police have not made any arrest in the shooting. Adriana's family says they're hopeful someone will come forward with information.
The woman accused of murdering her Green Beret husband, Clint Bonnell, will remain in jail without bond. Yesterday in court, prosecutors said Shayna Cloud was at the exact same location where deputies later found her husband's torso. The rest of his remains were found about 3 miles from his home. And warrants also show Bonnell was last seen the same day he told his wife he wanted a divorce. Cloud is expected back in court later this month.
5 students are hurt in Alabama after an apparent tornado hit a school. This happened in Dothan, which is near the Florida border. The storm caused significant damage to the school's roof. Other buildings in the community were also damaged by that storm.
And 4 days after a powerful earthquake hit Southeast Asia, authorities say at least 2,700 people are dead. U.S. military personnel are arriving to help with the search for survivors, and that 7.7 magnitude earthquake was felt for hundreds of miles. With an ongoing civil war happening inside Myanmar, international aid, it's arriving, but slowly.
Tonight, fans will fill the stands in the DBAP where you are looking live this morning. The Durham Bulls have their home opener tonight against the Sugar Land Space Cowboys. They just took off the tarp off the diamond. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is at the ballpark this morning. Kelsey, preparations well underway. The tarp being taken off, and we also hear the ballpark staff washing pollen off the stadium seats. That's not shocking here, is it?
Yes, Michelle, there was so much pollen on those seats, so they had to make sure that they used the leaf blowers to get rid of all of it. You can see some of that staff now on the diamond as they worked on removing that tarp within the last 10 minutes. This year, fans can expect an enhanced experience with new technology across the stadium. More than 5,000 square feet of new LED boards and an updated sound system. The Bulls are going head-to-head against the Sugar Land Space Cowboys tonight. They're hosting them in a 6-game series that will run through Sunday. Fans can enjoy 3 fireworks shows this opening week at the DBAP tonight, tomorrow, and Friday. Be on the lookout for some new food items at the concession stands this season. Fans can try out a rotating menu every week.
One of the things we've done is created a triangle stand, which will have some rotating foods. In this first week, there's going to be some pretzel themed. So we've got the burger. I'm excited about a pretzel charcuterie tray. So it is charcuterie laying in a large pretzel.
That sounds really yummy, and you may be able to see some of the staff here working to get rid of all of that pollen to make sure that everyone is comfortable as they're sitting here in the seats. But then we'll also show you this. This is going to be a new food vendor. We have Mezcalito here, so you can see that some of the crew members are working on putting the final touches on this vendor. So for the first time, Mezcalito will be offered here at the DBAP. If you want more information about tickets, just head to our website, WRAL.com. First pitch is tonight at 6:35. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Durham.
Your time is 8:10. Preventing ticket resellers. President Trump's new executive order prevents bots from buying up all the tickets to events. We'll show you the celebrity guests who accompany him for the signing.
And detailing their prolonged trip, the 2 astronauts who were stuck in space for months longer than intended are sharing about their trip, how they're responding to their extended stay.
And so far this morning, a nice drop in humidity, making it feel much more comfortable out there. We're going to show you how long that lasts and which parts of the area could see near 90-degree heat later this week coming up.
It's getting a little busy down there in Chapel Hill this morning as you're waking up actually to a very good day, and we have other great days along the way. As you're watching WRAL News, available on Hulu and the WRAL app on your TV or your streaming device. Yes, we of course will be going to Durham, a lot of our cameras today because of the Durham Bulls home opener, but we're also focusing on other places. You have Fenton and Cary behind you. It's feeling good all around.
Yeah, we got eyes everywhere, and yeah, so far so good in terms of our temperatures and humidity levels. There's a look at Fenton and Cary, where you see more sunshine than anything. There's some mid to high level clouds. Temperatures mid-50s in the Triangle when the dew point's in the low 40s. That's a measure of the moisture. It's pretty low, nice and comfortable, low humidity. Midday temperatures outside, you'll be in the mid-60s. Nice day for some lunch outside. We'll be in the low 70s in the Triangle. Areas like Goldsboro and Rocky Mount, Fayetteville mid-70s, Roxborough, Lewisburg in the upper 60s. So kind of the calm after the storm, and with great timing, right? Because we've been mentioning the Durham Bulls home opener. You're looking at a 6 p.m. temperature, first pitch in the mid to upper 60s. 7th inning stretch, we're probably in the low 60s, so temperatures will dip a little bit as you're out at the ballpark. Then by tomorrow, the Hurricanes facing off against the Capitals. It'll be on WRAL, or if you're heading to the game, it'll be in the mid 70s prior to it, upper 60s coming out of the game. And that's a warm-up that's really going to continue here as we go throughout the week. That red shading is above average temperatures, so as high pressure strengthens over the eastern U.S., it's going to help to pull in a lot of that warm air from the Gulf states. In fact, so much so that we're looking at the potential, at least for near record high temperatures. 90 is what we're forecasting in Raleigh for Friday and Saturday. The record's 88 to 90 degrees set back in the 1930s and 1940s. So that's the hottest we get over at least the next 7 days. So enjoy today and tomorrow. Definitely breaking a sweat Thursday, Friday, Saturday, even Sunday. Next storm system likely comes in Sunday night into Monday morning. Beyond that, some cooler weather. I'll look ahead beyond the 7-day forecast to the next 2 weeks coming up in the next half hour. Ken?
All right, Chris, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center, we're getting reports of an accident on Hillsborough Street and Fairclough. That's over there by Meredith College. We're being told that the road is blocked at some point. I'll keep an eye on that and let you know how that's going to affect your morning commute if that's the case for you. As we isolate the Beltline this morning, you see traffic has definitely picked up around the Beltline. Let's start on the Southern Loop, give you a look at what's happening on I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. Those are westbound lanes moving away from us this morning. bumper-to-bumper traffic, but nothing really that's going to make you late on the northern loop of the Beltline. These are the westbound lanes moving away from us on I-440 and New Bern Avenue, moving at an albeit slow, steady clip, but at least traffic is definitely moving. For those of you using I-540 as an alternate east-west route, you're looking at a 5-minute delay if you get on Lewisburg Road and getting all the way over to I-40. But really and truly, once you get past Creedmoor Road, it's just clear sailing all the way through I-540. Here's a look at other major routes coming into the capital city. Really, the only troubled spot is 7 minutes coming in from Wake Forest on Capitol Boulevard. A 5-minute delay if you're coming in on I-885 this morning. Over in the Bull City, very little to no delays to report whatsoever. So you're getting ready to head out the door, though. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
There are new safety concerns at Washington's Reagan National Airport because of recent close calls. The FAA says that a departing Delta plane and 4 Air Force jets headed for a flyover at Arlington National Cemetery were dangerously close Friday. On Saturday, airport police confiscated a kite flying too close to a landed United Airlines plane, and it might have hit it. And just last week, a fight was reported between air traffic controllers inside the tower. The airport has seen passenger traffic decline significantly since that mid-air collision back in January.
The death of former New York Yankee Brett Gardner's teenage son in Costa Rica is now believed to have been caused by carbon monoxide. 14-year-old Miller Gardner died March 21st in his hotel room while on vacation with his family. Investigators say a machine room next to his hotel room had some time of contamination that led to the carbon monoxide leak. They say they need to wait for final toxicology results to give an official cause of death.
University of Alabama students protested to demand the release of international student Alireza Daroudi. More than 150 people gathered yesterday to call on ICE to release Daroudi. They say the mechanical engineering doctoral student from Iran should be allowed to finish his education in the United States. ICE agents detained him last Tuesday, and at the time, he was in an apartment he shares with his fiancée. His attorney says his client did nothing wrong.
President Trump is going after ticket resellers with a new executive order. Gary Baumgarten shares a celebrity was spotted at the signing.
The Oval Office was star-studded on Monday as singer Kid Rock showed his support for President Trump's executive order targeting ticket resellers.
It bothers a lot of other artists, too. You see, the artists, and they go out with a $100 ticket and it sells for $2,000 the following night. And they seem to be able to sweep up the best locations, too, which is pretty amazing.
White House Staff Secretary Will Scharf says the order allows federal agencies to target bad actors who use bots to purchase large blocks of tickets at events, forcing fans to pay much higher prices.
It charges the FTC and the Department of Justice with rigorously enforcing laws on the books. In collaboration with state attorneys general that have power over consumer protection and other people who have the power to really crack down on this issue.
Artists like Rock say resellers are making it much harder for fans to enjoy concerts and other live events.
You know, they come in to get all the good tickets to your favorite shows you want to go to, and then they're relisted immediately for sometimes a 400% or 500% markup.
The ticket industry has drawn criticism from both parties in recent years as former President Biden's administration sued Ticketmaster last year for costs added onto ticket prices known as junk fees. Now, Ticketmaster's parent company, Live Nation Entertainment, is praising President Trump's order, saying it addresses the issue of bots head on while also protecting fans.
I think this is a great first step. I would love down the road if there would be some legislation that we could actually put a cap on the resale of tickets.
That was Gary Baumgarten with that story. Astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams spoke publicly for the first time since returning to Earth. They spent nearly 10 months in space when they were only supposed to be there 10 days. The two astronauts experienced issues with their test flight of Boeing's new Starliner spacecraft last June. They were able to get a ride back home aboard a SpaceX Dragon capsule 270 days after their original return date. President Donald Trump and SpaceX CEO Elon Musk accused the Biden administration of abandoning the astronauts. But here's Wilmore's take on that.
I don't want to point fingers. I hope nobody wants to point fingers. We don't want to look back and say shame, shame, shame. We want to look forward and say, let's rectify what we've learned and let's make the future even more productive and better.
The astronauts are scheduled to meet with Boeing leadership tomorrow as the company works to improve its Starliner spacecraft. A man is accused of stealing from a jewelry store before leading police on a chase that ended in this crash in Garner. Well, now he's expected in court today. Sky 5 flew over that scene of that crash at US 70 and Yergin Road, and court documents show 35-year-old Marshall Thornton right here on your screen. He's facing more than 24 charges because of all of this. Officers say after the theft from the jewelry store, they tried to stop the suspect near White Oak Road, and that's when he sped away before crashing. He was taken to the hospital before being released into police custody. Now, despite all of this, no one else was injured.
New feedback shows the Triangle Expressway is saving drivers time. The 540 extension opened in late September. According to the State Turnpike Authority, about 76,000 vehicles a day are saving time by taking it. Since it opened, there have been more than 17 million toll transactions, with nearly 147,000 on the busiest day.
Research from Climate Central shows spring seasons are getting longer, and that means earlier pollen releases and more pollen in the air. Sky 5 flew over Raleigh before yesterday's storm arrived. You can just see how hazy the sky was with all the pollen in the air. I want to almost sneeze just looking at this. WRAL meteorologist Kat Campbell says we could be dealing with this allergy season actually through next month. Experts say that you can minimize pollen's effect on your allergies by keeping your windows closed, and you can also wash your clothes as well as shower as soon as you get home, Michelle.
Not good right now. All right, well, city employee pay. Raleigh City Council will consider raises for police and other roles. Details of how they will determine potential pay bumps.
Plus, special elections. Wisconsin and Florida are looking to fill roles in the judiciary or left by Trump cabinet officials. Why these races are receiving national attention.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Happy April. It's 8:26. I'm Michelle McConaughey. Let's get over to meteorologist Chris Michaels. I know a lot of us wishing this pollen was going to go away, Chris. It's not going anywhere anytime soon.
It doesn't look like it. No, you can kind of see that haze on the horizon from the tall tower camera in southeastern Wade County. Aside from that, a nice day to get outside if you can kind of see past or get past some of the allergies. Temperatures there cooler than yesterday, but it's pleasant with low humidity and more sunshine than clouds today. High temperatures about 70 to 73 in the Triangle and the Sandhills. Of course, the Durham Bulls home opener, looking forward to that with temperatures in the 60s throughout most of the game. Over on Fox 50, I'll show you which parts of the area see near 90-degree heat later this week. That's coming up. Again.
All right, Chris, let's take a spin around the Beltline, starting on the southern loop. That's I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. Traffic flowing nicely in both directions. Over on the northern side of the Beltline, these are westbound lanes moving away from us on I-440 and New Bern Avenue, so things have definitely cleared up at this hour. Also, we're seeing not very many delays on any of our major routes. There's a crash on Hillsborough Street near Meredith College. I'll have an update on that and how it's going to affect your morning commute at the bottom of the hour over on Fox 50.
All right, thank you so much, Ken. State lawmakers will discuss a proposal to ban social media accounts for children under 14 today. 14 and 15-year-olds would have to get parental permission to have a social media account. Companies who do not comply with the law could be subject to a $50,000 fine. And tonight, the Bulls are returning to the DBAP for their season home opener. Fans can expect an enhanced experience this season with new LED lighting, an updated sound system, and new food items at the concession stands. Tickets are still available. First pitch is 6:35. Next on Fox 50, the high schoolers building homes for Helene survivors.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Some lower humidity and calmer weather after last night's storms, and temperatures today in the 70s. However, I'll show you when we see near record heat this week coming up.
And a social media ban. A new bill could put age restriction laws in place. How the legislation would hold tech companies accountable.
And opening night, we're giving you a live look this morning at the DBAP. We just saw them take the cover off the mound, so that's pretty cool, though it left a little pollen residue there. The team will play at their home game here for the first time this season. And the challenges that are going to be unveiled at the stadium, we're going to see a lot of changes. In fact, the food being possibly the most important.
Yeah,
among
exactly.
them.
Exactly.
Thanks for waking up and joining us here on WRAL News and Fox 50. I'm Chris Lovington.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. An exciting day. It's the DBAP home opener for the Durham Bulls. So we'll get to Kelsey Coffey for more on that coming up. But first, we have to talk to meteorologist Chris Michaels. Chris, you were mentioning earlier, actually, you could see the pollen that had come off of the tarp just sitting on the grass at the DBAP.
That is spring in North Carolina for you. But hey, looking forward to getting back out and hearing the crack of the bat again. It's just a special sound. Meanwhile, looking out at Zebulon, and you can see a little bit of a breeze, a whole lot of sunshine, and things feeling much more comfortable this morning. Cooler in Roxborough and Henderson at 48, Lewisburg at 52, Siler City 51, Wilson at 56 degrees. Farther south into Smithfield at 57, Fayetteville 59, Southern Pines 55 out the door this morning. Lunchtime temperatures, they'll be in the mid-60s, plenty of sunshine out there. And assuming that the pollen got wiped off the patio furniture, should be a nice day to be out there. And if you have some after-school practice this afternoon, temperatures will be in the lower 70s. Looking at a little bit of a cool down heading into the evening, but a big warm-up on the way. I'll show you which parts of the area hit near 90 later this week. Ken?
8:32, Chris, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Just a little while ago, as a matter of fact, in the last 15 minutes, we got reports of a crash on Hillsborough Street right there at Fairclough. That's right there near Meredith College. At one point, I was seeing a lot of yellow that one part of the road was blocked, but clearly that crash is now off to the side of the road and traffic is beginning to get through. But I'll still keep an eye on that as well. There's another crash not far from the station, actually, right there near Pullen Park on Western Boulevard in the eastbound lane, not causing any delays in that particular area, but you might see some police activity if you happen to be heading that way. Boy, things have really improved around the Beltline. This is the southern loop, I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. Even in the northern loop of the Beltline, as we take a live look at the Beltline in New Bern Avenue, you can see traffic is definitely moving at a nice steady clip this time of the morning. And most people have already gotten to work, right? All the other major routes heading into the capital city, 6 minutes if you're coming in from Wake Forest and Capitol Boulevard. Similarly in Durham, very little to no delays in the Bowl City this morning. We do want to isolate I-885. A lot of people use that route to get to and from Durham. If you're getting into Durham this morning, you're just looking at a 6-minute delay. If you're leaving Durham on I-885 to get to I-40, you're looking at a 6-minute delay. You're getting ready to head out the door. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
All right, thank you, Ken. Happening today, a bill that would ban social media for kids under 14 is up for debate. WRAL's Laura Levine explains how this would apply to apps, including Instagram and TikTok.
Some state lawmakers want to get social media off the phones of younger teens and children. That's essentially the motive behind this bill that they will debate today. So let's break it down. We're talking about 14 and 15-year-olds who will now have to get parental permission to have a social media account, and parents would be able to shut it down as well. Social media companies who do not comply with the law could be subject to a $50,000 fine. They could also be sued by a user's parent. WRAL government reporter Will Doran shares more on which companies the law would apply to.
This will not ban all even image sharing or chatting websites. It has very specific rules for what qualifies as social media, what doesn't. But in general, all of the big sites, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, things like that, will be targeted by this.
And there's still so many questions on how this would be applied and what this would look like. That debate is happening with the House committee today at 1 p.m. Laura Levine, WRAL News in Raleigh.
Today, Raleigh City employees will learn more about possible pay increases. City Council will get an update today on the findings of their compensation and classification study. That will include updates on pay range benchmarking information by job category and pay structure recommendations. Mayor Janet Cowell says this study will help determine police pay and possible increases this budget cycle. Firefighters have also been pushing for a separation allowance. City Council will meet at 1 o'clock this afternoon.
We have heard from Canada about the Trump tariff plan, and now it's time to hear from the EU, European Union. I'm Jeff Hogan in the WRAL Live Center, and the EU says it does have a strong plan for striking back against tariffs put in place by America and President Donald Trump if that happens. Ursula von der Leyen is the European Union's executive leader of the executive branch. She said in a speech that They don't necessarily want to retaliate, but if it is necessary, they have a strong plan to retaliate and will use it. Of course, a massive import tax is expected from Donald Trump tomorrow, calling it Liberation Day now. For weeks, he said that. Some hefty tariffs will be unveiled. He's already shown a sharp increase in tariffs on imports of steel, aluminum, and cars. Von der Leyen said that all the cards are on the table. She is open to negotiate.
All right, thank you, Jeff. We are working to learn more about two people found dead in a home in Wilson. An officer responded to a call at a home on Snowden Drive just before 5:30 yesterday. That officer found two people dead inside. Police say a suspect is in custody. No additional information has been released about how those people died or about the suspect.
Today's special elections are happening in Wisconsin and Florida. The race for a state Supreme Court seat in Wisconsin is drawing national attention. President Donald Trump and Elon Musk have taken particular interest in this race. It'll shape the court in the key battleground state. In Florida, the congressional seats vacated by Republicans Matt Gaetz and Mike Waltz, they're up for vote. Both of them left to join the Trump administration, though Gaetz later withdrew his nomination. Democrats are hopeful they can turn the districts blue.
A historic space flight is underway to an orbit never flown by astronauts.
3, 2, 1, ignition, and liftoff.
And they have liftoff. A SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket blasted into the sky from Cape Canaveral last night around 9:45. The Frame 2 mission is carrying the first all-civilian crew into orbit for a flight around the North and South Poles. Crew Dragon spacecraft is carrying a cryptocurrency billionaire and 3 guests. The crew is expected to spend 3 to 5 days in orbit before splashing down off the coast of California.
Tonight, fans will fill the stands at the DBAP, and the Durham Bulls have their home opener tonight against the Sugar Land Space Cowboys. That's where we find WRAL's Kelsey Coffee at the ballpark. Kelsey, fans have some tasty new food options to try, and I hope someone brings some back for us to try.
Chris, I can't make any promises, but I'll do the best that I can. So we were talking a little bit earlier in the show about all the pollen that's out, and you can see here that staff is working to clean some of that up out of the seats to make sure that fans can enjoy a nice, comfortable experience in the stadium tonight. And then we'll pan over to the diamond so you can see how they removed the tarp about 30 minutes ago. So now the field is game day ready. This year, fans can expect an enhanced opening day experience with new technology across the stadium, more than 5,000 square feet of new LED boards, and an updated sound system. The Bulls are going head-to-head against the Sugar Land Space Cowboys tonight. They're hosting them in a 6-game series that will run through Sunday. Fans can enjoy 3 fireworks shows this opening week at the DBAP, tonight, tomorrow, and Friday. Be on the lookout for new food items at the concession stands this season. Fans can try out a rotating menu every week.
We've got fun for all ages. If you're a diehard baseball fan, we've got something for you. If you're a family with kids that just want to come and hang out and enjoy the weather and you're having a staycation during spring break, we've got something to fit you as well.
There's still time left to get tickets, so if you want more information, go to our website, WRAL.com. You'll have more information there. And first pitch is scheduled for tonight at 6:35. Kelsey Coffee, WRAL News, live in Durham.
And WRAL will be at the DBAP all day, showing you all the fun ahead of the game. That's why you can look for updates on WRAL News from 4 to 7:30 this evening. Should be fun.
It should be. Well, a gas station in Apex says their pumps should be back up and running in a few days after a fueling mix-up damaged at least 50 cars. The owner of Refuel on Laura Duncan Road says a third-party tanker put the wrong fuel in the wrong tanks. It swapped diesel and unleaded fuel. Refuel says this is isolated to this one gas station. They expect to be operating again after the Department of Agriculture tests its pumps and signs off that they are okay to use. If you have any issues, the best course of action is to email the company. They say if you can show a proof of purchase, they will work with you to make this right.
Starting today, part of North Main Street in Holly Springs will be closed as teams work to repair water lines there. The street will be closed between Arbor Creek Drive and Tink Park starting at 9 o'clock this morning, so in about 20 minutes. The town says this closure may last just a few days. People who live there will still be able to access their homes, but no through traffic will be allowed. Detours will be posted. Your time is 8:40 this morning. Housing Helene victims. High school students in Yancey County are trying to do just that. A look at the progress being made in carpentry class.
And Nathan Fillion's new show, the DC spinoff, coming soon after Fillion returns as Green Lantern for Superman.
Plus, lower humidity. As you're taking a live look over Lake Gaston this morning, nice, calm, placid. The rainy conditions are over and a warm up. It's coming. Meteorologist Chris Michaels will share just how hot it's going to get by the end of the week.
Welcome back. 8:44 on the first day of April as we take a live look over downtown Raleigh. It's going to be a beautiful day today. A little less humidity in the air. Meteorologist Chris Michaels has another beautiful look over Zebulon. Sunshine, blue skies. I mean, what's better?
Exactly. And you just said it. The low humidity is really kind of the big ticket, especially compared to yesterday. It was humid by late March's standards. And now we turn the calendar into April. There's your sunshine in Zebulon and temperatures running in the 50s across much of the viewing area. Now by midday, we're in the mid 60s. Plenty of sunshine heading into the afternoon. Not as warm as yesterday, but even still, I mean, low to mid 70s. Can't complain much about that. And again, the humidity nice and low for now. Heading into tomorrow still feels refreshing, but as we head into the night, that's when we start to see the humidity levels creeping up, and they'll certainly do so heading into Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Reason being is just because of where the air is coming from. You've got high pressure that's offshore, you've got low pressure to the west, and the airflow in between the two, at least in this part of the northern hemisphere, comes in out of the southwest. So you notice all that red right there, that's your above average warmth. I'm not just talking above average, I'm talking near record highs. Friday and Saturday going with a forecast high of about 90 degrees. That's about the record for Saturday. It would break the record for Sunday if that were to happen. And keep in mind that's for the triangle. Farther north, you'd be a little cooler. Farther south, you'd be seeing similar temperatures. But keep in mind the average last freeze is April the 8th, and it can happen as late as May 8th. I'm not saying that we're all going to drop below freezing next week. However, it does look as though below average temperatures will be likely between about April the 8th and April the 14th. So if you've already planted in the garden, just know you may have to cover things up 1 or 2 days this month. So we'll keep tabs on that. It's just not going to happen within the next 7 days. 71 today, 76 tomorrow, mid 80s Thursday. There's your heat through Saturday. Our next weather maker comes in the form of showers and storms Sunday night into Monday morning, with updates to come as we go through the rest of the week, guys.
All right, thanks, Chris. A new bill targets sex education in school and library books that some believe are inappropriate for children. 2 North Carolina Republicans have introduced a bill that would require parental permission for children to learn about puberty, contraception, sexual assault, and trafficking. And it would introduce several new restrictions on books in schools and libraries. Officials at schools, libraries, churches, museums, and other places could be prosecuted for exposing kids to, quote, harmful materials, books that the average adult would find offensive and with no value. Currently, those officials are exempt from prosecution for that.
Today, the Raleigh Police Department's K-9 unit will get a $50,000 gift. This donation comes from the estate of Virginia Parker. Her father was a Raleigh police officer for 20 years, prompting her to leave the money to the department. And so RPD plans to use that money to purchase police dogs, including one replacing another dog retiring soon. And City Council will discuss all of this afternoon.
A settlement cleared the way for UNC Health to build a new community hospital in Cary. UNC and Duke Health resolved pending litigation, but the state still has to approve it. UNC Hospital's Cary campus will include more than 100 acute care beds and 2 operating rooms. The new facility is expected to open in 2032. Duke University Hospital will be approved to develop more inpatient beds.
And Jeff Hogan in the WRAL Live Center getting some new word this morning about staff cuts at federal health agencies. They have begun. A lot of people showing up to work today and being told to go home. I want to get into this just a little bit to give you an idea of exactly what we're talking about. Massive U.S. Health and Human Services Department, that overhaul expected to be about 10,000 people. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. had announced this plan last week to remake the department. We're talking about agencies that you have heard of, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the Food and Drug Administration, and that story about one employee showing up for work, had to show their badge, and then sent home. These are the agencies responsible for tracking health trends and disease outbreaks, medical research, monitoring the safety of food and drugs, things like that. More to come.
Watching that development very closely. Thank you, Jeff. Students in Western North Carolina are using their carpentry skills to build a tiny home for a Helene victim. Students at Mountain Heritage High School in Yancey County are working very hard to complete this project. You can see it right here. Carpentry teacher Jeremy Dott says this house, it's special for a number of reasons. Helene hit this community hard, so the students saw and felt the need to help out.
Have bought in completely to what they're doing. Their hearts are in it. They know who this house is going to. They know that the foundations that they're working with, like rebuilding Hollers, is, their heart's in the right place with doing this to help our community members.
This house was paid for with donations to Rebuilding Hollers Foundation. They hope to build many homes in the future.
That's incredible. Well, raccoons in Western North Carolina will be vaccinated for rabies this week. Wildlife workers will set bait for the raccoons, which also contains the rabies vaccine. The bait will be set out in 17 counties in an attempt to cut down on rabies by controlling it in wildlife. The program usually happens in the fall, but was delayed this year by Tropical Storm Helene.
Happening today, Governor Josh Stein will attend the North Carolina Rehabilitation and Reentry Conference. Stein will highlight his commitment to the state's reentry initiatives and reducing recidivism and promoting public safety. The conference is at the Hilton Raleigh North Hills location.
And starting today, paying a bill to the city of Sanford by credit or debit card will cost you a little more. The city is adding a 2% convenience fee to all payments to any city department. Sanford says this would have saved the city $183,000 a year in processing fees last year. Payments by cash, check, or money will not incur any fees.
The town of Apex announced the dates for this year's Camp Ignite. The free summer camp is just for girls, and the goal is to get them interested in a career in firefighting. It's hosted in partnership with the Apex, Cary, and Morrisville Fire Departments. And what you're seeing right here is video from last year's camp. It's open to rising freshmen through seniors, and this year's camp runs July 14th through the 18th. Just so you know, the application form is opening soon.
The Raleigh Police and Fire Departments are about to face off on the ice in a friendly hockey matchup. The Battle of the Badges will take place tonight at the Lenovo Center, all for a great cause. Tonight's game will benefit Raleigh police officer Max Gillick. He was injured in the line of duty back in January. Recovering from a gunshot wound, Gillick was released from the hospital a little over 2 weeks ago. And now fellow officers and firefighters hope to raise money for his family and cover those medical bills.
So we like to get off the streets, so to say, and into these different venues that we can to interact with each other, to help each other, to show people that we're normal people.
Lenovo Center doors open at 6. That game gets started at 7. The public is invited. Donations will be accepted. All proceeds will benefit Officer Gillick.
An actor in the new Superman movie is taking his role to the small screen. David Daniel has that and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
I've been tracking this kind of entertainment since I was a kid.
Nathan Fillion goes green. HBO says the actor will play Green Lantern Guy Gardner in the streaming series Lanterns. Fillion will debut the role in Superman, heading to theaters this summer.
It's an annual film competition where you need to have somebody with a disability in front of or behind the camera.
It's lights, camera, action for the 2025 Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge. The genre this year, thriller and suspense. Some 160 teams around the world have until Sunday, April 6th to shoot and edit a short film. All of the films will be uploaded to YouTube, and the winners will be announced at a gala May 8th on the Sony Studios lot.
Why are you following us? I was hoping to find my pride.
Tiffany Boone took plenty of pride voicing future Queen Sarabi in Mufasa, The Lion King.
I had the opportunity growing up loving The Lion King so much, so to be able to bring this version of Sarabi where we get to see her backstory and get to see who she was before she was this queen and wife and mother, it's really an honor.
Mufasa the Lion King is out now on Blu-ray and DVD. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
The Carolina Hurricanes going against the Eastern Conference leading Washington Capitals this week. Puck drop is tomorrow at 7 p.m. You can watch it over on WRAL.
And your time is 8:53 this morning. We do have a look at your winning lottery numbers right here. We'll also get you another check on weather and traffic, as today we are tracking the first day, or rather I should say, the Durham Bulls home opener over in Durham. Should be a fun time.